All right, let's see if we're live. I think we are. I don't know if I am because I'm not on my page. Let's see. All right, we are live. Welcome everybody to our latest live stream. This came much quicker than anticipated. We actually have a large, potentially tornado on the ground near Oakdale right now. This is near Interstate 90 over in Wisconsin right now. So there's potentially a large tornado on the ground. You're going to want to seek shelter immediately near 16 Interstate 90, Wyville. A lot of areas included in this new tornado warning. Again, we have a potentially large tornado on the ground. Again, this is basically near Oakdale. This is the area of rotation that we're watching as of right now. A potential large tornado is on the ground with this cell. You can very well see the debris ball potentially right there. Let's go and take a look at the correlation coefficient as of right now, and you can see there is potentially a very large tornado on the ground that is near Oakdale and Interstate 90. So you're going to want to make sure you're seeking shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible. If you're anywhere in these areas, again, there is a radar indicated and confirmed tornado. This is potentially large as well, so we have to really monitor this very closely. There's a severe thunderstorm warning also attached to this. I'm not able to get the details on the tornado warning, but as of right now, again, a tornado warning ongoing, and this is again for the potential for a tornado. There's obviously a tornado on the ground right now. You can see that very clearly here on the correlation coefficient near Interstate 90. Let me go and take a look at the details on the warning. I'm not sure if we have anything confirmed in terms of a large tornado, and this is potentially a very large tornado. So again, this is near Interstate 90 heading off to the northeast. Change my title here. Yeah, this is a very large tornado. You want to make sure you're seeking shelter immediately. This debris ball might be a mile wide. Let me go and take a look here. And this is the debris just from its vertical length here is about 1.8 miles. Now, obviously, if we go from the other angle, it's probably going to be closer to about a mile. So there's obviously a lot of debris being lifted up into the atmosphere right now with this particular tornado. Again, this is near Oakdale right now, near Interstate 90. This is a fairly populated area, and obviously it is rush hour, so it's a very bad timing overall. But again, a very large tornado on the ground. You can see it very clearly here depicted here on radar. Let's go to the velocities right now, and this is a look at the velocities. Very tight here. Again, this is near Interstate 90. See the winds going away from the radar, winds going toward the radar. Again, very strong rotation. This very well could potentially be a strong tornado as well. This is not just a typical, EF0, EF1 tornado that happens a lot in times of lines of storms. This is likely going to be something much larger than that. Again, this look at the correlation coefficient right near Interstate 90. This is moving off to the east northeast. Next people on track will be Wyville. Wyville, you should already be in shelter, as well as I'm not going to be able to say the name, Nesita, if I'm saying the name right, over there, closer to 80 as well as 21. Those areas are next in path for this ongoing tornado warning. We also have another tornado warning that just got issued down here to the south. I'm not entirely sure if this is on the ground, but there's also some tight rotation here near 82. Then this is another area to watch very closely. Correlation coefficients also showing potentially some debris right here near 82. So we actually have potentially two tornadoes on the ground, both of them seemingly being large. Now, here's our latest on the tornado warning. As of right now, it is an observed tornado. Actually, now it's not radar indicated anymore, it's observed. It is the damage threat right now is considerable. So this will look again at the correlation coefficient here near 16 and 90. This is a very dangerous storm. Again, make sure you're seeking shelter immediately away from windows. Again, this is near Oakdale going off to the northeast. Again, this is over in Wisconsin if you guys are from other areas. But again, this is our ongoing tornado outbreak near Interstate 90 and the 94 junction there. It is a very dangerous storm. As you can see here on the radar, the debris area is very large embedded in this tornado warned storm. Again, here's a look at the reflectivity. You can just see the debris balls are already being shown up here on the radar. So there's obviously a very large tornado here. You can see the inflow going into the storm very clearly. Again, your hook as of right now. And again, the tornado is located really right about there near Interstate 90. It's about to update here in a second. It will be heading toward 21 here pretty shortly. But again, very large tornado on the ground right now. You can see the values right now are very well depicted of a tornado being on the ground. So again, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows. If you're in Wyville, anywhere going toward Nesita, if I'm saying the name right, again, that's another area that has the potential for this tornado within the next 5 to 10 minutes. And again, this is the live radar as of this last radar update was about 1 or 2 minutes ago. The next radar update's coming in right now, so again, an idea of what the correlation coefficient's indicating then. But again, very large tornado on the ground. This has been on the ground for potentially as many as like 7 to 8 minutes, I think now. So it's been on the ground for a good amount of time, and it very well might be a long track tornado sort of situation with how it's developing right now. This is the latest radar update, still showing a fairly large tornado just crossed over Interstate 90. Again, it's heading toward Wyville as of right now and going toward 21. So those areas, make sure you're seeking shelter immediately. Again, we have a very large tornado on the ground right now, potentially. Obviously, it's a very strong tornado as well. Again, debris is very well indicative here on the radar. Very tight rotation. You can just see it's extremely tight. We don't usually see these in a typical summertime storm. This is a very dangerous situation again today that we're watching unfold. Again, tornado outbreak is expected throughout the next several hours. Wind speeds are being estimated right around 90 miles per hour at the very core, which usually with reflective or velocities, excuse me, on the radars are usually going to be underestimated by a good amount with tornadoes. So this very well might be a stronger tornado overall in terms of what we're looking at right now. Even if you go up a little bit higher in the atmosphere, it's closer to 94 miles per hour. Go back even a little bit further, it's still showing around 80, 90 miles per hour. So again, this is potentially a very dangerous tornado, though. As you can see here, there's a large debris ball right now with this storm near Yville. Again, that's heading off to the northeast as of right now. Again, make sure you're seeking shelter immediately away from windows. We got another tornado warning again ongoing down here near 82. I believe this one may also be on the ground. I'm not 100% sure. Let me take a look. So this is a look at the reflectivity. As of right now, it looks like this is also another tornado on the ground near 82. So there's a little bit of a circle there where the correlation coefficient's indicating at least some sort of debris potentially being lifted up into the atmosphere. Velocities seem to be somewhat tight. They're not completely tight, but it obviously with this sort of environment, it doesn't have to be completely tight because we're already seeing a little bit of debris potentially being lifted up into the atmosphere here near 82. That will eventually be going toward Hillsborough as well. So 2 tornado warnings ongoing. Again, this one has a potential tornado on the ground right now near 82. This one has a very well defined area of a tornado right now on the ground with the correlation coefficient depicting a lot of debris being lifted up into the atmosphere right now, heading off to the northeast toward 21. So again, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows. This is an extremely dangerous situation. As of right now, it's not PDS, which I'm actually a little bit surprised by. I don't believe it's PDS. It's not PDS tornado warning yet, but I'm kind of surprised by that. But obviously the winds on radar are not indicating anything that looks like above 90 yet. Again, it's an observed tornado by a weather spotter in the area, I'm guessing. Let's go and take a look. I'm going to look at the velocities on radar scope real quick. Velocities on radar scope are showing much higher than 90 miles per hour. So this very well could be potentially even stronger than what it is right now. Again, that's near Yville. That's heading off to the northeast. That is our ongoing potentially dangerous situation here. I'm not going to call it a PDS because it's not, but it is obviously a very dangerous tornado going toward 21 right now. This is a very well-defined area of debris on the radar. Again, that's just south of Yville. That will likely be in Yville here within the next couple of minutes, if not right now. So again, if you're anywhere in these areas along 21, make sure you're seeking shelter. If you're over in Nacita as well, make sure you're seeking shelter. Anywhere near 80, make sure you're seeking shelter. Again, very well-defined area of debris on the radar right now. We also have another tornado warning again ongoing down to the south. We'll go back to that one in a second. That one also has potential tornado on the ground. This latest radar scan showing even a larger area of debris. The last radar scan was a little bit lesser. This is obviously showing still a very large area of debris here near 21 in Yville. Let's go and take a look at the velocities again, and you can just see the radar should be updating here in a second in terms of the velocities. And actually, this is the latest radar update. So, or it's not actually updated here on the velocities. Back to this and try to refresh it. It's not updated here on the velocities, but it's very well depicted that the tornado area now here is near Yville. Let me go back and refresh this. There we go. All right, so this is again where the area of a tornado is right now near Yville, near 21. Again, here's a look at the reflectivity as of right now. Very strong inflow going to the storm. Again, your debris ball is literally right there. It's on the radar. It's a very well-defined area of a debris ball right now, which very well could be indicative of a EF2, EF3, EF4 type tornado at this point. Now, velocities again are estimating somewhere around 105 miles per hour on radar scope to potentially 110 miles per hour. This radar is specifically estimating around 75, which is very well underestimated, but we're definitely seeing a very large tornado on the ground. Again, this is a look at the tornado area as of right now near Yville. Again, down to the south as of right now, we have another tornado on the ground potentially near 82. This is another area where we have a pretty well-defined little area of debris that is within that little hook there. And this is a look at the velocities as of right now as well. So the velocities are actually getting pretty close to tight now. So there's very well another possible tornado on the ground here near Hillsborough. Let me take a look and see if we have anything on this. It says capable of producing a tornado. But again, the correlation coefficient is very well depicting that there's some sort of debris being lifted up. So there very well could potentially be another tornado there near 82. So another area to watch very closely here over the next several minutes. So again, 2 tornado warnings ongoing. Our main one as of right now is here near Yville. Again, producing an ongoing tornado right now. So make sure you're seeking shelter again away from windows. I'm going to try to see if we have any photos in this area. We might have some. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to go to Twitter and check that out, though. This is, again, a very dangerous situation here near Yville. See if we have any photos or anything like that. And this is a very well clear area of debris near Yville. Again, that's going to be going towards Nacita here over the next several minutes. And as of right now, I'm not seeing anything in terms of photos or anything like that. Let's see if we have any in Oakdale. And as of what I'm seeing, yeah, so there's a large tornado. There is a large tornado being picked up by one of the cameras from the Wisconsin dot camera. So there is a very large tornado, it looks like, on the ground right now. What I'm seeing, again, this is a bit of a rain wrap situation, so it's going to be hard to even to be able to depict this, at least in person, unless you're right here along 21. That's like the only way you'll be able to see it. But as of what I'm seeing, it looks like there's a very large tornado on the ground with this. Again, it is a very tight rotation going off to the northeast. And again, that's going to be going toward Necedah here over the next several minutes. Again, very tight rotation here near Wyville. Again, that's going to be going over 21 probably within the next scan. But again, the correlation coefficient's indicating a 1 mile, potentially larger debris ball right now. So it is a very dangerous situation. Latest radar update showing slightly lesser in terms of the correlation coefficient, but it doesn't matter. It's still on the ground with this latest scan. You can see a very large area here still of debris being lifted up into the atmosphere near Wyville. That is now in portions of northeast Wyville. That will eventually be going over to the northeast. It looks like possibly in between 173 and 80 is the next areas in track. Again, tornadoes do change direction, so if you're in Necedah, you should still be in shelter regardless. Again, debris can fly as well several miles away from where it's even happening, so it is a very dangerous situation to even try to be outside in at this point with what we're seeing right now. Again, that's going to be going toward 80 and 173. Going back down to the south real quick, the area of correlation coefficient down here with this tornado warning storm, not nearly as impressive, but it is still possibly on the ground here, at least estimated by radar. Let's go back to the velocities, and velocities are still indicating pretty tight rotation there, and you can again see possibly a little bit of debris being lifted up possibly near 82 as well. That's going toward Hillsborough. So if you're in Hillsborough, make sure you're already in shelter, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Again, this is our large, potentially large tornado right now, just to the northeast now, Wyville. So again, make sure you're in shelter immediately, away from windows. This is a very dangerous situation right now. Again, it's a considerable threat, at least deemed by the National Weather Service. It's again an observed tornado. What I've seen already on Twitter seems to be a very large tornado. So I'll go ahead and try to retweet whatever I just saw. I'm going to retweet a couple of things on Twitter. So if you're on our Twitter again, my new Twitter, by the way, is Max Velocity WX. So, but it is linked down. It's not linked in the description. I believe you have to do !Twitter if you want to go to that. Because I forgot to change my description before going live. But this will look at the ongoing area of a fairly large debris ball. Let me go and change my links in the description real quick. Might have to refresh the page, but all right. Actually, there's only one link I had to change. Okay, there we go. So again, this is over in western Wisconsin right now, ongoing large tornado near 21. Again, it's moving off to the northeast. It's going to be going toward 80 over the next several minutes. Again, this is going possibly toward Necedah. It might just stay off to the north of Necedah, but there's obviously it's a massive risk. Make sure you're staying away from windows, lowest floor possible, regardless of where you are in this tornado warning. It is a very dangerous situation right now near Wyville. Again, considerable threat as of right now, deemed by the National Weather Service. It very well could be an EF2, EF3, or even EF4 tornado. But what I've seen so far, again, on Twitter, seems to be a very large tornado. And the velocities right now are just indicating extremely strong winds. I mean, we're talking potentially as high as a EF2 right now, at least estimated by radar. I mean, that's just an estimate. Again, we have to, obviously, the National Weather Service the following day will go ahead and survey that damage. But this seems to be a very dangerous tornado right now. Again, debris ball is indicative on radar. It is very well defined as this heads off to the northeast. Again, that is your area of a debris ball right now near Wyville. Let me go and see if we have anything on Twitter in terms of damage yet. Obviously, it's going to probably be a bit until we have anything like that, but it already rolled through Oakdale. Toma, I don't think saw it. Toma was a little bit off to the north of it. Debris, again, is extremely large here near Wyville. Let me go to Google Maps, see what's actually in this area right now in terms of structures and whatnot, because this is, again, a fairly dangerous situation. All right, let's go and take a look. All right, so Wyville, there was a Wyville elementary school and whatnot. Those were the things in this area in Wyville. Now, where we're at now with this tornado is it still seems like it's on some side roads, maybe a little neighborhood. It seems to be a fairly little neighborhood. After this, it's going to be heading toward, it looks like a little bit of a much rural area in between 173, 21, and 80, which is at least good news for right now. But after it goes through this area for the next, I guess, maybe a couple minutes, it'll eventually possibly go towards, it looks like maybe a county flowage. I'm not sure what that is, but it looks like a lake, and then it looks to be some more homes closer to a little area. It looks like a forest, Blueberry Trail, an Eagle Nest Resort might be in the path after that as well. So that's what we have as of right now, it looks like, in this area. Tornado warning. All right, there we go. So it looks a little easier to see now. So again, it's gonna be going toward a Wilderness Inn, so a little hotel there, and Spa Jew. Say the name right, or Spraw. I'm just gonna say Spraw. So Spraw, the area there near 80. This is near 80. That's the next area in track of this tornado warned storm. That has a few little. It has a hotel and a couple of other roads. So it looks like a little bit more of a rural space from here on out for at least another few minutes. It will be going over the Eagles Nest Resort, which is a trailer park as well near 16th Street. So that's what's gonna be impacted within the next minute there. So unfortunately, it's going towards a trailer park as well as the Eagles Nest Resort, as I said before. And it looks like a big lake. And then after that, it'll be going towards, it looks like 5th Avenue North. So that's the areas in track of this large tornado, again, near Yville. Here's the latest on the, again, the scan. So it actually says what locations are on the warning now. So Strong's Prairie, Cutler, Yville is still included, but Yville at this point, if you're in central Yville, it has now passed over you. You probably aren't watching the live stream since there was a tornado there, but Finley, as well as New Minor, Mather, the Necedah Wildlife Refugee, as well as Normay Ridge, Monroe Center, and as well as Shennington, and as well as Pedenwell. Hopefully I'm saying these names right. A lot of these I might be butchering, but regardless, you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. You can see that those areas are currently included in this very large tornado threat. Again, we have a very large tornado on the ground here near Yville. This is the latest radar update as of 4/21/25. So that basically means the next radar update should be coming here in a brief moment. Again, here's a look at the very tight rotation right now, just north of 21. So again, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows. If you're any of this warning, again, this is a very dangerous situation. The town now of Necedah is actually now out of the warning, at least for the downtown area. If you're in northern Necedah, you might still be in the warning. You should still be in shelter. But those basically just to the south of 21 near Necedah are now not included in this tornado warning. It just got excluded for those areas. We got another tornado warning now back out to the north. We'll look at that eventually. But again, this is a very dangerous situation that we're looking at in terms of that tornado warning. Still got some rotation down here near Hillsborough. There looked to be a tornado on the ground with that one as well. This is again a very large tornado on the ground here near Yville, and the latest scan still showing a very large tornado possibly still on the ground. Let me see if we have any new photos or anything like that. Again, it's a rain wrap tornado as what we know, so that's what we're kind of getting out of this right now. That seems like what most people are saying is it's rain wrapped. It's been pretty difficult to see. Again, Yville's already been hit by this. And Yville possibly has a lot of damage. Once we get a little bit more of those damage photos, I'll definitely let you know. Again, very dangerous situation. You know, anybody in Wisconsin today, again, if you know anybody in this area, make sure you're sharing this with them, or at least tell them by messenger or something that they're aware of this situation. It's a very dangerous situation today. I know the setup looked kind of weird. It looked like a line of storms, and that's what we're seeing. It's basically just a line of storms, but these are having so much, there's just such a strong low-level jet and low-level shear today. We have this very large potential for tornadoes today, and that's kind of what we're at this point. Again, a moderate risk of severe weather is ongoing. Very likelihood of seeing more of these sort of situations over the next several minutes. But again, this is a very large tornado. It's pretty close, I believe, to the trailer park now, near Eagles Nest Resort. That's where it is as of right now, and this is just to the north of Shennington right now. That's where we're at as of now, and it's going to be going off to northeast. Cutler Fire Station is also pretty close to this. It might just go to north of you, but it's going to be a very close call there. Meadow Valley, Barron State Natural Area is also going to be in the path of this within the next several minutes. Probably within the next 2 to 3 minutes, it's going to be there. So a lot of areas are in the track of this tornado warned storm right now. And yeah, some photos are being posted on our Discord. Yeah, obviously it seems to be a fairly large tornado, what I'm seeing at least on Twitter. So yeah, again, if you're in any of these areas, make sure you're seeking shelter. Very large tornado heading toward 80. Yeah, this is a large tornado. It's definitely, it's not anything in terms of like a little twister. This is definitely a very large destructive tornado that we're looking at here. And yeah, I'm guessing that it is going to at least be a quarter mile wide, if not wider than that. But what I'm seeing, at least on the velocities, this is the latest scan, still a very tight rotation. Let me try to measure out the velocities. Now, this isn't always accurate, but it'll at least give you a little bit of an estimate of what we're looking at here. So as of what I'm looking at on the velocities, it's right around about 3/10 of a mile potentially wide. That's kind of what we're looking at. So it might even be a little bit wider than that, but it's just hard to determine because, again, we're in a rain-wrapped tornado situation, and obviously we figure out that information the next day. But that's what we're looking at. It looks to be about maybe 3/10 of a mile wide at least. That's kind of where we're at this point. It might be even a little bit larger than that, could be even a little bit smaller than that, but that's at least the general gist of what we're looking at there with this tornado warned storm. Again, very high winds with this as well. Again, this is a very strong tornado. This is not just a little weak tornado that we're looking at. Again, that's your debris ball on radar north of 21. Again, it's heading toward 80 right now, and eventually going toward that trailer park, as well as Eagles Nest Resort. Those areas are in the track of this storm next. Again, very large tornado on the ground potentially right now. So, yeah, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows. Yeah, this is a big rain wrap tornado. That's what we're looking at as of right now. Latest radar update still showing a very large area of debris. This is the 427 radar update, by the way, so if you're just wondering, this is literally the latest radar update, just came in like 5 seconds ago. Area debris is very well defined, so you can see the pink right there. You might, for those that have been watching for a while, you might think that's just hail. It's not. It's definitely a tornado. Obviously, it's very well defined here on radar. We have a confirmation of this tornado, and it's still ongoing. It's been on the ground, I believe, when I start my live stream. It's at least been on the ground, it looks like, for 25 minutes. I believe that's possibly the estimated time now. But again, very tight rotation there. You can see it just north of 21, heading toward 80 right now. And we have also a few other tornado warnings ongoing, none of them with confirmations it looks like yet, but again, this has been on the ground for 25 minutes. This is a very large tornado heading off to the northeast. Thank you, Bolden, for the report, by the way. Yeah, over in Hillsborough, there is a tornado warning ongoing there. It looked to be a tornado on the ground at one point with that storm. I'm not sure how long it was, though. There looked to be something on the correlation coefficient showing up for at least 5 to 10 minutes. So there very well could have been a tornado down there as well. Not nearly as strong, it looks like, as this one, but there definitely probably was one down that way near Hillsborough. So yeah, again, very large area of a tornado right now, southeast of 173 and west of 80. This is heading off to the east-northeast. It should just stay off to the north of Necedah. I would still, again, make sure you're inside and away from windows if you're in Necedah as well, because this, again, could very well send some debris flying, depending on how strong this tornado is. I mean, it could send it several miles away from the center of where this area is right now. Again, this is a look at the correlation coefficient. And if you're not familiar with what these colors mean, the red usually represents at least no hail and really no sort of debris. Now, when we look at these very sharp blues and greens, that usually will represent some sort of tornado, especially when it's right over the area of velocities, which you can see it here on radar. It's very well depicted. The velocities and correlation coefficient are identical at this point. They're very well matching up with this system. So that's just something to keep in mind. Again, if you're new here, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. All right, so we're starting to see damage over in Scott Peak. It looks to be possibly very strong damage too. It does not seem to be anything minimal. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can get those photos up here. That's over on Twitter. Yeah, if you're just doing it for the first time, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're going to keep you updated again with the next several hours, the latest on all these tornado warnings. Let's go to see if we have anything on Twitter. So we should be getting some damage reports in here in just a second. Again, very large tornado is still on ground. Wyville, still no tornado reports. Scott Peak is the one I saw it at. Let's do and see. Let's see what we have in Scott Peak right now. Yeah, so we have a lot of damage on the ground. A lot of trees, obviously down. A lot of trees are completely snapped. So we're seeing as of right now. Let me look if we have anything over in. Let's see, that was Oakdale. So let's go and take a look at Oakdale as well on Twitter. See if we have any damage there as well. And again, the tornado is very large. I mean, this is just an extremely large area of debris still. Again, make sure you're seeking shelter. If you're anywhere going towards 80, that's where it's going as of right now, just to the north of Necedah. Again, this is going off to the east-northeast. Again, this is over right now, the trailer park at Eagles, Nest Resort. And this is going toward 5th Avenue North. Wilderness Inn is next in the line for this as well. Sprudge is going to be the next area in the line of this as well. So Sprudge is the next town in line. It's not on my map, but it's basically right about here. It's right at this little intersection. So Sprudge is right now right in the dead center of the track right now, near the Wilderness Inn, near 9th Street West. This is near State Road 80. So again, if you're near State Road 80, right there in Sprudge, make sure you're getting on the lowest floor possible. Bathroom is the best place to be at this point if it's an interior room away from windows. Put a mattress over yourself, something at least to keep you safe. This is a very dangerous tornado again. We're starting to get damage reports, but I'm not seeing anything that is, at least we've seen a lot of tree reports. I haven't seen any structural damage at least yet. There obviously is some structural damage. The pictures won't come in at least for a little bit since, again, this tornado literally just was on the ground for the last about 25 minutes. But the interstate, by the way, is the tornado likely crossed Interstate 94 and 90, by the way. That's what, obviously, it's pretty much obvious at this point. Camera went down, by the way, so this camera actually ended up going down, the one that saw the tornado. Tornado looks to be very large, by the way. So that's what we're seeing. It's not like a 2-mile wide tornado or anything like that, but it is definitely going to be at least a quarter to maybe a half-mile wide. That's kind of what we're seeing at this point in terms of this tornado length. Yeah, this is over in West Wisconsin right now. let's go back down to the south real quick. Again, we have an ongoing tornado warning down here near Hillsborough. I'm not seeing anything in the correlation coefficient indicative of a tornado yet. We also have one back out to the north near Pittsville. Again, we're going to primarily focus on this tornado warning. Again, this is a very large tornado. If you're just tuning in for the first time, it's moving off to the east-northeast toward 80. And as of right now, it's a very well rain-wrapped area of rotation. This is the 4:30 radar update. We're getting our next radar update here in just a moment. So we'll get an idea of what we're looking at in terms of velocities and whatnot. Then it looks to still be a very tight rotation. The latest radar scan luckily showing a much smaller area of rotation, at least on the latest radar scan. Now, very well could just be a one-time thing, or very well could strengthen or even weaken from here on out. But as what we're seeing here on radar, you can very well see that it's much smaller area of rotation. It's still very tight, though. It's obviously still a tornado on the ground as of 4:31. Correlation coefficient still going to show a very large area of debris. Even if the tornado is winding down now, debris is still flying, and it's still going to be picked up here on radar. So we'll have to see what happens on the next radar scan and see what happens from there. And here's the latest radar scan. So this is actually looking to be, it might be weakening. There's a possibility here. So this is the latest correlation coefficient. Again, still showing debris in the atmosphere, so we're still seeing debris being lifted up right now. This is a look at the velocities. And the velocities don't show a tornado anymore, at least for right now. Again, there might still be one on the ground. It's still not confirmed. We'll have to see the next radar scan. We're still seeing a fairly large area, though, of debris still in the atmosphere at some extent, whether that be a couple thousand feet up or whatnot. There's still debris as of right now being lifted up near 80. So that is again going toward Sprudge. If you're in Sprudge, just make sure you're still in shelter, away from windows, lowest floor possible. We'll see what we have in terms of photos and whatnot here in a second. Multiple semi trucks, by the way, were flipped, by the way. Your Interstate 90 and 94. Obviously very heavy traffic as well because of this. There's probably accidents where the tornado crossed over the interstates at 90 and 94. Again, this tornado was possibly on the ground since I started live streaming 26 minutes ago. So let's see, probably about 30-minute tornado possibly. If it's still on the ground, that might be a different story. But what we're seeing, at least in terms of the velocity, seem to be much weaker. We're still seeing debris right now near 80. And that's what we have as of right now. Another area of rotation back down here to the south. Let's take a look at this one real quick. Again, this is near Union Center, down to the south. And this is a look at the velocities. Nothing tight as of right now. It's a little bit tighter again near Hillsborough. Not seeing anything too tight as of yet. We have a little area of rotation here near Pittsville as well. Correlation coefficient also not showing anything. So good news so far on those two tornado warnings. We have another one that just got issued down here to the south near Richland Center. So we have five tornado warnings, excuse me, ongoing, I believe. This one's near Richland Center, and correlation coefficient not showing anything yet in terms of debris, but velocities obviously are getting much stronger there. So again, if you're near Richland Center, make sure you're seeking shelter. That's moving off to the northeast as well. Going back up here to the north, again, this is the one near 80, potentially still tornado. I don't know if the tornado's on the ground still. We're going to see in the next radar scan if there is still a tornado on the ground. Usually the correlation coefficient will weaken out over a couple of other scans after the tornado lifts up. So I very well could see something like that here in the next several minutes as this moves up to the northeast. This was actually not a PDS. Excuse me. And I'm not sure why. But yeah, this was not a PDS tornado warning, I don't believe. Let me take a look again. Oh, it is actually a PDS. It was a PDS. Okay, so it actually got upgraded to a PDS tornado warning. So that is new. I did not notice that. So it was actually upgraded to a PDS. I'm just going to keep the PDS thing up here for a second. But it was actually a PDS tornado warning storm. I didn't realize it got upgraded to that, which I was actually surprised it wasn't earlier. But it is obviously a PDS tornado warning still. It might get downgraded seeing what happens over the next couple of scans. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But so this was a PDS tornado warning, which obviously makes a lot of sense for what we've already seen with this tornado warning storm so far. Again, velocities again are very weak on the latest scan. We're going to get our next radar update right now. So with what we see on this next radar scan will really determine if there's still any sort of rotation ongoing with this storm. But this was, again, a very large tornado. I believe it was going over a lake or something like that. That could also hinder what we're looking at. It could. It's a possibility. All right, next radar update's coming in right now. So this is the look at the correlation coefficient on the latest scan, showing a lot of just blue and green all mixed together. Let's look at the velocities, though. This is the 437, and it does not show a whole lot in terms of rotation anymore, which is very good news for this area near 80. Now, it could very well redevelop. Again, it went over a lake, I believe, for at least a couple of minutes, so that might hinder what we're seeing now, but there very well could still be a possibility for a tornado over the next several minutes. Again, this is an ongoing PDS situation near 80. Yeah, it's heading off to the east-northeast going toward 80, but this is US, I believe this is State Road 80, excuse me, and this is near the Wilderness Inn and Sprudge right now. That's the area of rotation, but I'm not seeing a whole lot in terms of rotation anymore with this storm. Possibly possibly still some debris being shot out, like going different directions. That looks like what we're seeing here just to the west of 80. So other than that, though, it looks like the tornado for at least this moment is not on the ground. It could redevelop again. This tornado was on the ground for possibly as many as 30 minutes. Ever since I started going live, it was on the ground from there on out. So there might still be a tornado on the ground with this. We'll watch it fairly closely. Again, velocity is not showing anything in terms of a tight rotation. Let's look at the reflectivity, and it's kind of back in the mix of the back end of the storm. That's where that area of rotation basically is now, and it does not seem, maybe it doesn't at least seem to have much of an environment to redevelop. Now, obviously down to the south and as well as back up to the north, we have ongoing tornado warnings, and several of these could also produce the potential for a tornado in the short term. So going back down to Richland Center real quick, this is an ongoing tornado warning. We still have some rotation here near Richland Center, Highway 14 as well as 56. That's moving off to the northeast. Again, this is another area of a tornado warned storm. Looking at the reflectivity, basically your tornado will be located somewhere in here near 14. That's moving off to the northeast as of right now, going toward 58. Again, that's just a normal tornado warning. That is not a PDS tornado warning by any means. No tornado on the ground, at least as of now with that. But there could be one at any time. Area of rotation near Elroy, just off to the east of Elroy and northeast of Union Center, is also starting to redevelop. So watch that one pretty closely as well. And then near Pittsville, as of right now, we also have an ongoing area of rotation that is currently looks to be very rain wrapped. And this might also start to weaken out as it moves off to the northeast, since it's just so far back in this area of the storm, which will hopefully help it to be able to weaken. Now, we're going to watch this one still very closely here for the next several minutes. Again, we have a pretty large area of still debris flying in the atmosphere right now. So again, you should be staying away from windows, but we don't at least have a tornado, it looks like, as of right now with this storm. Kansas, if you're in eastern Kansas, you might see some storms later tonight. I do plan on still being live by then. So those storms will start to develop around 7 or 8, somewhere in that time frame. But that will be East Kansas, probably closer to Kansas City, maybe Topeka as well. Those areas are kind of be in the area of that. All right, so we're getting our next radar update right now. Let's go and see if there's any new updates on this tornado warning. And the PDS, I believe, got taken off of this. All right, so PDS got taken off of this in the latest scan. So let me go and reset this to the tornado warning. So PDS is taken off. It still says a confirmed tornado, so there might still be a tornado on the ground with this, according to the National Weather Service. Here's a look at the latest radar scan. Still a lot of rain, obviously. It's kind of going to be rain wrapped regardless. Area of rotation seems to be redeveloping here, back out to the east now of Sprage. Take a look at the velocities, and yeah, area of rotation is trying to redevelop. It looks like right here, that's a little bit better, in a better position in terms of trying to redevelop here. Looking at the correlation coefficient, as of right now, it does not seem like there's a tornado on the ground. What we're seeing back out here to the west still seems to be some debris. Now, I'm not really seeing anything, at least in terms of velocities. I mean, there very well could still be some debris because of where that tornado was, and obviously the tornado was on the ground for a long time. Large, obviously, if there's debris being lifted up into the atmosphere, it might still be on radar. I'm not entirely sure, though, we're seeing a tornado still on the ground here. If there is, though, again, you should be in shelter regardless, but there might still be a tornado. I can't confirm it because the velocities aren't really showing much in terms of rotation there. Now, back out to the east, there's a new area of rotation with this ongoing cell that's east of State Road 80, which very well could redevelop into a tornado down the road. That's moving off to the east-northeast. Let's see what's on the track of this after this, and it does not seem to be a whole lot of areas. Interstate 39 near Plainfield will be an area in the track later on. That's probably within the next 30 minutes or so. So those areas will definitely have to be ready for that. All right, let's go and take a look at the area here. So that's going to be going toward, all right, so the areas in track of this now area of rotation is going to be the Cranberry Creek Mound Group State Natural Area, going toward New Miner. So New Miner is the next area in track of this. Eventually we'll be going toward Petterwell Lake, which seems to have a lot of parks and whatnot. That seems like what is going to be in the track of this tornado warning. And then eventually toward the Sand Valley Golf Resort. So there's actually a lot of areas near 13. So it seems like there is going to be a lot more areas near 13 that are populated, like this area here. So that area, definitely make sure you're seeking shelter once you get a tornado warning, or even just take that proper precaution now if you're not already under the tornado warning. It's going toward Monroe Center as well. That is near the Petterwell Lake. So just on the east side of that lake, that is where we're seeing a areas that's still under the tornado warning. That's also just to the north of Strong's Prairie. So those areas are in the track of this storm. And again, locations are on the left side of your screen. I'll go and pull those up in terms of where this tornado warning is as of right now. If you're in eastern Kansas, again, you'll see some storms develop later tonight, probably around 7 o'clock or so, maybe 6 o'clock. I'm going to look at Twitter again for any new photos. And we'll probably be live for that. So if there isn't already storms developing, I don't think they're going to develop for a couple of hours, though. All right, let's see. Yeah, there's still a lot of large tornado sort of stuff being retweeted on Twitter. I'm going to look up damage and see if we have any damage photos. Next radar update, by the way, is coming in within the next 15 seconds, maybe 13 or 30 seconds, I mean. All right, so I'm not seeing any damage reports out of Oakdale yet. Now, Yville is probably a different story. There might be a bit more photos out of Yville. Again, there is a lot of photos. All right, so Scott Peak actually sent in the photos. I thought Scott Peak was the location, but Scott Peak actually sent in photos from a tornado. I'm going to go and retweet it on Twitter, so if you want to check our Twitter, again, it's a link in the description. There's photos out of there in terms of damage. It's a lot of trees so far. That's what we've seen. Obviously, we're going to see more structural damage probably soon. The debris, by the way, was possibly as large as 15 to 20,000 feet long, which is a possibility with the storm, obviously. That was when this tornado was on the ground. New area of rotation, again, is redeveloping here, it looks like. So we might see another tornado on the ground here pretty soon. Let's look at the correlation coefficient and see what we're seeing. So it looks like the debris as of right now is starting to go lesser up there. So we're starting to see less debris at least in the atmosphere as of now. So that's good news. Obviously, that will probably start to settle down here pretty shortly. But we obviously have the ongoing threat right now with this possible tornado-warned storm with a new redevelopment of a tornado, which obviously the first one was very large. This second area might redevelop as well. So we'll have to watch that area pretty closely. Let me go back over to the other tornado warnings here as well. There's another area of rotation, it looks like, trying to develop up here as well near 173. Just look at the velocities, and I'm not seeing a whole lot. It looks like a lot of rain, so it might have a hard time developing, but that's obviously another area to watch pretty closely. We're also getting damage reports. We have a bunch of tornado warnings down here to the south. We'll get to those in a second. So trees blocking road at county at A and State Highway 131. So right along State Highway 131, a bunch of trees down, and a small shed damage on County U and Keats Road. So we have damage reports there as well. We're probably going to get more here within the next several minutes. So make sure you stay tuned. Going back down to the south, we have ongoing tornado warnings down here as well. One area of rotation northeast of Richland Center. Again, this area of rotation has been, moderately strong for a while. That'll be going toward Lime Ridge over the next several minutes and toward 58. We obviously have another tornado warning ongoing just to the east, or really right now in Muscota, if I'm saying the name right. That's going off to the east-northeast. We have an area of rotation there. That is moving toward 14 as well as 130. So we have a couple of ongoing areas there of rotation. We have a much larger tornado warning out in front of all of this, going off to the northeast toward Baraboo and as well as possibly Wisconsin Dell. So those areas will be in the track of that storm as well over the next several minutes. So that's what we're looking at in terms of that warning as well. That's going toward Plain as well as Loganville as well. Back out here to the north, we have a little bit of an inflow. It looks like this might be the area where we probably have some rotation near Monston, and that's going off to the northeast as well. And that seems to be the area of rotation. It's actually back up here to the north with this specific cell. It's not anything tight, but we definitely have a little bit of rotation up there with that cell, and you can see it there. Velocities are definitely a little bit stronger there near just south of Interstate 94. So that's another area to watch very closely. Again, our main ongoing tornado warning, which possibly still has a tornado on the ground, is going to be going towards areas like Monroe Center as well as New Minor. Those are the main areas, I think, in the next couple of minutes in the track of this. Again, it's going to be a rain wrap situation. That's where area where a tornado might be located. Again, it's heading off to the east-northeast as of right now. So make sure you're seeking shelter again away from windows if you're anywhere in this tornado warning as of right now. Hey, Marion, how you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure it's a subscribe button. Again, we do live streams like this all the time. Make sure to like the live stream as well. Again, we'll keep you updated over the next several hours with the latest with this tornado warning as well as the other ones, again, over the next several minutes and possibly over the next several hours. Let's go back over to the latest radar scan and see what we're looking in terms of velocities. This is not the updated velocities. This one might be updated. Not yet. All right, we're getting our radar update here. And yeah, area of rotation now is basically here. I believe it's just west of the, or might be over, Peterwell Lake. I believe that's maybe where it is. Could be wrong. I believe that's where it is though right now. It's near the Peterwell Lake. That seems like where it is. So that's where it is as of right now, near the Peterwell Lake. Yeah, you can actually kind of see it on the background here. So that's where it is right now, near Peterwell Lake. That's going to be crossing over the lake here over the next couple of minutes. And after it crosses over the lake, the next areas in track, there's a home grounds in the track of this. There is a pizza place, a couple of other places there right along 2. Or is that Z? That's County Z. So that's the County Z road going off to the northeast. That is outside of the tornado warning at this current time. Monroe Park is actually in the track of this. So Monroe Park, Monroe Center, definitely make sure you're in shelter now. That's kind of where this tornado warning is kind of going right now, or at least the rotation. Again, that's near Veterans Park and as well as County Wilderness Park as well. A couple of areas there in the current ongoing area where that rotation is. Let's go back to the correlation coefficient, see if we have still a tornado on the ground yet. And as of right now, the velocity is now back out to the north, or excuse me, the correlation coefficient back out to the north, not really showing anything, which is good news. So it looks like all the debris for the most part is now at least surfaced. Now the new area of rotation, again, no debris as of yet, but it very well could redevelop here over the next several minutes. Again, going back to the velocities, As of right now, again, this is where your area of rotation is near just off to the east of 80. So that's what we have as of right now, going off to the east northeast. By the way, thank you on as well as Born for subscribing, guys. I do appreciate it. Yeah, very well could be recycling. That's what we're going to be looking at. Again, a lot of these storms will likely have a very good capability of recycling tonight. We got a new tornado warning now for areas near Monston near 84, or 94, excuse me. Interstate 94 going off to the northeast is now a new area of rotation. This seems to be rain wrapped. It's over the town now of Monston right now. That's going off to the northeast. Look at the velocities. They are definitely strengthening there. And let's take a look at the correlation coefficient. And as of right now, we're not seeing any debris, luckily, with this storm, but it very well could, again, develop here over the next several minutes. A new area of development, though, near Interstate 94. So that's moving off to the northeast as of right now. Let's take a look, a bit of a zoomed out look here. We actually have a 65-mile-per-hour wind port down there. But again, we had already some damage reports with this large tornado that is now not on the ground, but it very well could redevelop at any time. Just to the south of Toma, there's already been trees knocked down on the roads and whatnot. We very well could see more damage reports over the next several minutes. We actually will, but we'll be getting those here over the next several minutes, and we'll keep you updated with the latest on those. Let me go and take a look if we have any new reports on Twitter. And yeah, we're getting a lot of tree reports right now. And this was already tweeted into us. This is a look at some of the damage that we're seeing. This was sent in by Bolden, by the way. So you can see tree snapped here, sent in by Bolden. Uprooted trees and whatnot. And you can just see a lot of branches down as of right now. Now, obviously, where this is exactly located is very well to be determined. But that was east of Yville. So it looks like, I'm not sure again where that is in Yville, but there was some damage there reported over in Yville. I do appreciate, by the way, Bolden for sending that in. Thank you. All right, so as of right now, if you're just tuning in for the first time, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tornado warnings ongoing. 3 of them are currently associated with their own storm. So we basically have 4 areas of rotation that are currently tornado warned. As of right now, again, this is the one that produced a large tornado at one point just west of 13. Again, that's heading off to the northeast as of right now. That rotation very well could redevelop. That was the area where we had a large tornado not too long ago. Now, back down to the south, we have a new area of rotation that's beginning to tighten here near Monston. This is northeast of 14. Let's go take a look at what we got on this storm. Let me go to the correlation coefficient, see what we have in terms of any debris. As of right now, no debris, so that's good. We don't have any tornadoes on the ground, but we again have a pretty tight area of rotation developing there, just to the northeast of Interstate 94. That is moving off to the northeast. A couple of other storms rotating back down to the south. One area currently near 14 that's moving off to the northeast as well. Seems to be a somewhat of weak area of rotation at this current time, but it very well could redevelop at any time. Northeast of Richland Center, this is another area of rotation, which has a new tornado warning out in front of it. That is a fairly broad area of rotation west of 58. So we might see an area of development there over the next several minutes. Again, this is a very prone environment for tornadoes to develop. So we will likely see more than just one tornado. We've already at least seen one. We might have also seen one near Hillsborough. That's unconfirmed, but there might have been one. I'm actually going to take a look at Hillsborough damage. We might have some there with that storm. Let me go back up to the north here real quick. I'm just going to go and put the velocities on here for a second. I'm going to go take a look if we see have any damage over there in Hillsborough, because I know some people did. Somebody said in chat that there was already damage there. Obviously, there was a possible tornado there as well near Hillsborough. All right, so as of yet, we don't see anything there. Again, there was possibly a tornado in Hillsborough, so let's see if we have anything there. Rotation was tight there as well, and there was obviously correlation coefficient was indicating something on the ground there near Hillsborough, so we might have had something on the ground. But as of yet, we don't have any pictures there or anything like that as of yet, but we very well could at some point soon. Lots of damage at Oakdale. Is there some photos on Twitter? I'm not seeing anything on Twitter yet, but I'll actually just look at Oakdale, see if we have anything. All right, so as of yet, we don't have any photos there, but there's obviously going to be a lot of damage. What I've already seen is a lot of trees down, which is obviously good as long as there's not a whole lot of structural damage. What I've at least seen is a lot of just trees down. That's kind of what I've seen so far in terms of that storm. Again, that's the area of rotation right now, just to the west of 13. That is, again, moving up to the northeast. Again, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows. We have another area of rotation, again, southwest of Wisconsin Rapids. That is another area where we could get a tornado warning at some point. Rotation seems to be broad as of right now with that storm. We have a new observed, possibly tornado. Is this observed? Yeah, it is another observed tornado. It's a confirmed tornado by weather spotters. So we have another tornado on the ground. This is north of Monston right now. So new area of a possible, or there is a tornado on the ground. That's north of Interstate 94. That is moving off to the northeast. Let me go and take a look at what we got in this area. Because again, there's now another tornado on the ground that has been observed. Let's go and take a look at what we have in the track of this storm right now. Again, there's a tornado on the ground. If you're just tuning in now near Monston. See if I can get the tornado warning details on here for this storm. All right, so as of right now, there is going to be a lake out in front of this as well. So this will be going toward the Wisconsin River. That's kind of where we're looking as of right now, in the Castle Rock Lake. Those areas are kind of in the next couple of minutes where that's going. Now, this is a pretty populated area, it looks like. Quincy Town Hall is going to be in the track of this. This will be going toward County F Road, and eventually toward 13. So that's kind of where we're looking as of right now. Adams Inn will be in track of this tornado warning. If you're in Adams Inn, near Adams, or as well as just south, or even in Friendship, those areas are also included in this tornado warning. There's a flea market. Friendship and Adams seem to be much more populated in this current tornado warning. Again, those areas are kind of back up here to the north. So you can see near Adams, that's in the track. Friendship, I believe, is just outside of this tornado warning. If not, you're kind of on the edge. So Friendship is up here, I believe. That's kind of what we're looking at. So Friendship is right here. And then we have Adams, obviously, here. We have an Adams flea market down here. So that's kind of what we have in the track over the next several minutes. Again, a tornado was confirmed by weather spotters in the area, but it will be crossing over a river and a lake, which should hopefully try to weaken it a little bit, but I'm not sure how much it'll help. The tornado, again, was confirmed just north of 82, and just basically right along Interstate 90 and 94. That's kind of where we're looking in terms of where this was just confirmed. The Woodside Sports Complex is also in the path within the next couple of minutes with this storm. I'm going to take a look at the correlation coefficient as well with this storm, because I haven't done that yet. Let's go and take a look if we have any debris on the radar. And I see a little bit. I mean, it's not anything crazy. I'm not seeing anything that's depicted of at least a large tornado, but there very well could be some debris being lifted up with this storm. Again, this is just the latest radar scan. Might take a second as well for that to pop up here on radar, but this is again an area of rotation that we have as of right now that has a tornado on the ground. So it is again a confirmed tornado observed. We should be getting more details here any moment on terms of how large this is as well. And tornado is definitely on the ground. We definitely have a tornado on the ground with that. As of right now, we definitely have a tornado. The tightening of the rotation is much more depicted right here. That's where our tightening of rotation is north of 82. Let me go take a look if we have any warning details that are new. And as of right now, no PDS on this, but it obviously is a tornado on the ground, so you should be seeking shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, and heading off to the northeast. Or east-northeast, excuse me. That's kind of the direction. I have no clue US. That's not really my concern, though. Can't rule it out, though. Wisconsin Rapids. Isn't that down to the south, or is that... Can't remember where Wisconsin Rapids is. Oh, it's back up here. There is an area of rotation back up to the north near Wisconsin Rapids, but as of right now, it seems to be mainly rain. I don't see anything that is going to be on at least a tornado within the short term, but definitely make sure you're prepared. Again, stay away from windows. Even with any severe thunderstorm warning, it is very well that you should stay away from windows, because we have just such a prime environment where a tornado could drop within a couple of minutes with any storm. So just make sure you're staying away from windows. That's all I can really say for you. And as well as lowest floor possible, just kind of be in shelter as well. That's kind of what I would recommend. All right, let's take a look at the correlation coefficient with this storm. Again, I'm not seeing anything that's defined in terms of debris with this storm, but there is a very tight rotation. As it is already been confirmed, we have a confirmed tornado on the ground with this. It's off to the north. We have a confirmed tornado, damage to hospital and grounds, by the way, in Monston. So there was a tornado actually confirmed in the downtown area of Monston near Interstate 94 and 90. So we had a confirmed tornado there. A lot of damage already being reported there as well. With that storm. So again, we have some confirmed damage near Interstate 94 and 12. Back to the again, reflectivity as of right now. It's a rain wrap, possibly. It's likely a rain wrap tornado. You can see the inflow going to the storm there. Possible tornado is going to be located right there north of 82. Again, northeast of Interstate 94. This is all moving off to the northeast as of right now. Again, looking at the radar as of right now, you can see the tightening of the rotation is right there. Looks like right along the river. I believe that's the lake. So that's the Wisconsin River. I believe that's as of right now. Sheila, as of right now, North Texas is not seeing much. It's just very hot. And I'm starting to get more photos in, by the way. We're getting damage reports in Scott Peak. Took some pictures. It looks like a barn was completely collapsed over in Wyville. So that's what we're looking at as of right now in terms of damage there as well. I'm getting a lot of tweets as well, so we're starting to get a lot of damage photos here. littoral scene as of right now. Again, very large tornado went through Yville and as well as Oakdale. We're still getting photos in there as well, so we'll have more details on that pretty shortly. But again, very dangerous day ahead. Again, this is not going to be our only tornado that we saw up there. We're going to see more from where that came from. We already have a tornado on the ground still that already had damage in Monston, so we've already seen a confirmed tornado there. Again, this moving off to the northeast as of right now. Let me go back a couple scans here on the correlation coefficient. I am interested to see if we actually had any debris being lifted up when this tornado-warned storm went through Monston, because I'm not sure if we did. That would probably at least determine in terms of what we're seeing in terms of how large this might have been. And yeah, it doesn't really show much. Obviously, there was a tornado, it says on the ground. I don't see anything on the correlation coefficient. So this very well could have possibly been a brief tornado. It very well could also still be on the ground. It looked to still be tight in the latest scan. So there's still possibly a tornado on the ground here near Wisconsin River as of right now. This is the 458 live radar. This is the, again, next radar update's coming in right now. So I'll have an idea of if we still have a tornado on the ground with this tornado warned storm. And then setting off to the northeast. Let's look at the velocities. Again, very tight rotation there. That's your area of rotation right now. Next radar scan should hopefully show us where we're at this point, because it is going toward Adams in 13 over the next couple of minutes with this, again, tornado-warned storm. All right, here's a look at the latest radar scan showing it looks to be a bit more of a broad rotation, not nearly as tight, so it does not seem like there's a tornado on the ground. Now, there very well could be a tornado on the ground at any point with the storm, but as of what we see at the latest scan, nothing that indicates a ongoing tornado. Now, very strong winds, that's without a doubt. If you're in Adams, you should still be in shelter regardless. Again, we've seen recycling of the tornadoes several times already today. This storm up here, by the way, the tornado warning does not seem to be extended on that large tornado warning, but we now have a tornado warning for Wisconsin Rapids, which I know somebody was just tuning in from that location. Let's go and get the latest on this tornado warning. So this is near Wisconsin Rapids, just to the south of there. That seems to be the area of rotation. That's near 73 and 13. So that's the area of rotation there. Again, just to the south of Wisconsin Rapids and southeast of Port Edwards. Let's look at the velocities as of right now. That is our area of rotation, very well depicted there on radar near 73 and 13. Make sure you're seeking shelter immediately if you're in Wisconsin Rapids or any of these areas as this storm heads off to the northeast. So again, this is a new ongoing tornado warning. I will actually be live streaming probably tomorrow for the New York and Pennsylvania tornado stuff as well tomorrow. So, but there will likely be some tornadoes tomorrow as well. Not nearly as pronounced as what we're going to see today, but there will be a potential for a few tornadoes tomorrow. We have another tornado warning back up to the north as well, near Merrill. Now, let me go and see if we have any radar sites around here. I'll go and take a look at that here in a second. Let me go back down here real quick. I'm going to have to look at radar scope, see what we have in terms of radars. Didn't really look beforehand. We have one near... All right, so we have one just to the... All right, so we're going to go to the Green Bay radar site for that tornado warning. So we have another tornado warning back out to the north here, near Wasuso. If I'm saying the name right, probably not, but that's near Brokow, maybe one of those two, but that is an ongoing tornado warning here. Rotation seems to be very tight from this radar angle. I looked at another one, it was a little bit more broad, so I can't say there's a tornado on the ground, but looks to be some rotation. Let's go down to the other radar site. I need to see if we actually have anything in terms of an actual possible tornado on the ground or not. Let's go back over here to Merrill. And it shows a lot of hail. It looks like there's at least some hail with this storm. Velocities, again, seem to be having a little bit of tightness on the other radar site, but this one's not showing nearly as much in terms of a tight rotation. Now, there very well could be a tornado on the ground. Again, this is in between three radar sites, so it's going to be difficult to tell, but that's your area of rotation near just to the north of Rothschild. I'm not going to try to say the name, but that's, again, going off to the northeast and going towards 64. So make sure you're seeking shelter, again, immediately away from windows. Again, velocity seem to be very strong from one radar site. This one not nearly as pronounced, but it very well could produce a tornado at any given time. Going back down to the south real quick near Adams. This is an ongoing tornado warning again. Possible tornado might be on the ground still near just to the southwest of Adams. That is our ongoing observed tornado. Again, this has been confirmed by weather spotters in the area. This is not radar indicated. This is a ongoing possible tornado. With the latest radar scan, it showed it was a little bit further up to the north. We're getting our next radar scan on the storm relative velocity here right now. See what we have on the radar. Again, area of rotation on this radar scans here should be going back up to the north, and yeah, that's our area of rotation. It still seems to be a bit broader down to the south. That's our area of rotation here just to the southwest of Adams. Very well rain wrapped, so you're not gonna be able to see it, but if you're in Adams, make sure you're being in shelter, as well as Friendship. You should also be in shelter with that storm. This is the one southeast of Wisconsin Rapids. Again, if you're in Wisconsin Rapids, you should be seeking shelter immediately. This is going to be going toward Whiting over the next several minutes as well. So look at the velocity. So velocity seem to be still fairly broad with this cell, but again, tornado very well could develop at any time. Seems to be very well rain wrapped as well, even if we saw a tornado. So but again, you should be in shelter if you're anywhere in Wisconsin Rapids going towards Plover, and as well as Whiting, Stevens Point, Amherst, Nelsonville. Those areas all make sure you're in shelter immediately. Ongoing tornado warning again near going toward Interstate 39 over the next several minutes. We have ongoing tornado warnings back down to the south as well. Obviously, we have a lot of tornado warnings ongoing. I'm trying to get to each and every one of them, but there is a lot ongoing. A lot of them see, at least what I'm seeing so far, is a good amount of them have a good amount of broad rotation. Now, this one down here, north of Rock Springs, it looks to have a bit tighter rotation, so near Rock Springs. So we're going to take a look at the correlation coefficient. Not seeing any debris, but it seems to be a bit tighter here. That's right now near 23, and that's moving off to the northeast. Again, here's a look at the reflectivity. So a bit more of a broad look as of right now. Again, if you're over in Iowa or as well as Kansas, storms will start to develop over the next couple of hours. Again, if you're just tuning in, if you're from those areas, we'll have some storms over there. They will not be nearly as severe as these ones, but they will have the potential for maybe a tornado threat, very low end, but mainly large hail and damaging winds. If you're in like eastern Kansas, Iowa, those areas, those are the threats for you. But this is our ongoing tornado warning again for Wisconsin Rapids as well as Stevens Point, Amherst, those areas in the track of this storm ongoing. Thank you, Donna, as well as Win Office, for subscribing, guys. I do appreciate it. Yeah, if you have any questions about the ongoing tornado warnings, feel free to leave those in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at radar scope again. These storms are moving off to the northeast as of right now. Go back to the velocities. I'm going to keep it on the velocities here for the next scan. This next scan is coming in, it looks like, in about a minute. Yeah, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. We'll keep you updated with the latest throughout the evening as well with the latest on the tornado warnings, as well as any other severe weather that does occur tonight. Let's take a look. So seems to be that we have a bit more of a tight rotation down near Reedsburg. Let's go down to Reedsburg real quick. This is the tornado warning storm that had there's actually a new tornado warning. We'll go to that one real quick, and then we'll go down to the Reedsburg possible tornado. So this is an ongoing tornado warning. Again, this is a new one. I don't know if it includes much. It still includes Adams, but that's about it. I don't see a whole lot. Near 21 and just to the south of 21 are included in this new tornado warning. Again, a potential for tornado does exist. This one had a confirmed tornado at one point over in Monston. So those areas had a confirmed tornado. Again, the ongoing rotation is just south of Adams. So again, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows. That storm's moving off to the northeast as of right now. So that's another dangerous cell as of right now. Again, we got a bunch of other tornado warnings. One near Reedsburg that has a bit more of rotation. This is the latest radar update, and this is the area of rotation here. So I'm not seeing anything that's extremely tight, and the winds are also kind of a bit varying here. But I would assume if there was to be any tornado, it would be somewhere in here. Now, if we go back over to the reflectivity, there's a little bit of an area that has a little bit of a hook. Nothing that crazy yet, but we very well could see something develop there near 33 and 23 over the next several minutes. Again, it's moving off to the northeast as of right now, and that is also another ongoing tornado warning. Back down to the south near Plain as of right now, we have an ongoing tornado warning again near Plain. That's just off to the west. That's the area of rotation moving off to the east-northeast. And it seems like that's the area of rotation. Seems to be broad at this point, but again, these can rapidly strengthen as they move off to the northeast. So it's definitely going to be something to watch very closely. All right, let's go back up to the north here towards 64 and 52. This is a bit more of an area of rotation that has been a bit more concerning over the last few scans. For those that are off to the northeast, you can see that the rotation from this radar angle is still broad. If we went to the other one, it's a bit tighter, but definitely an area to watch. Again, that's to the north now of 52, or it's right along. So this is the area of rotation that we're seeing. It's near 52. If you go back over to the reflectivity, as of right now, it seems to be a bit more of a rain wrap situation, but that's the area of rotation as of right now. That's moving off to the north. It'll eventually go towards 64 over the next several minutes as well. A lot of strong winds, by the way, near Easton right now. Let's go back down to the south. The storm near Adams has some pretty strong velocities being picked up here on radar. And that is a very large glitch, but there are some stronger velocities down this way. You can see as high as 80 miles per hour winds currently with this cell. Again, this is an ongoing tornado warning. There is some broad rotation with it, but the winds are extremely strong. A lot of straight line wind damage is probably going to happen north of 82. Again, that's just south of Adams and Friendship. That's going to be going toward Oxford as well as Westfield over the next several minutes. Again, anywhere out in front of this area of storms is going to be much more populated near Interstate 39. This is where we start to see more areas of population. We're kind of in a bit of a rural area right now. Again, this will be heading toward a bit more of a populated region here over the next several minutes. So make sure you're starting to prepare for these storms. I'll primarily be focusing on this one. Again, this one's producing some pretty high damaging winds as well, and has some rotationing, but that's what we're seeing as of right now. Yeah, tornado was huge by Oakdale, was. right, sorry about that. I got my dinner. All right, again, for Adams, again, for you and Adams, make sure you're still in shelter. Again, this will be heading toward Interstate 39. Ongoing tornado warning, and that's on off to east-northeast. Our area of rotation as of right now is still here. It seems to be broad as of right now. We have damaging wind gusts as high as 80 to 85 miles per hour as well with this storm. Straight line wind damage is expected. It is an area of broad rotation as of right now as well. So we're seeing a pretty broad rotation overall. That is heading toward Interstate 39 over the next several minutes. And again, we have ongoing tornado warnings as far north as areas like Merrill, and as far south as down here closer to Richland Center. But Richland Center no longer included in the really any tornado warning. Plain as well as Baraboo are included in this tornado warning that has a potential as well for a tornado at some point pretty soon. But as of right now, rotation seems to be pretty broad down here to the south. I'm not seeing anything that's tight in terms of any area for rotation. This area back down near Interstate 94 seems to be an area of rotation, possibly trying to develop near Linden Station. That's a little area that we might have to watch as well as it moves off to the northeast. Let's go back up here real quick near Adams. And again, area of rotation is currently centered here near Adams. That's moving off to the northeast as of right now. So again, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows with this storm as well. How longer until it gets to Milwaukee? It'll probably at least be another 2 to 3 hours. I think the timing there will probably be closer to 10 to 11 o'clock though, in my opinion. Another tornado warning just got issued down in Iowa. Let's go to this one. This one seems to be a bit more discreet. And I believe that might be the closest radar station, if I'm not mistaken. Be wrong. All right, we'll go down to this. So a new tornado warning is just issued down here in Iowa. This is near Lamont as well as Dundee. Area of rotation might be pretty strong here. Correlation coefficient picking up a lot, but that's obviously pretty far away from the radar site. This is a look at the rotation. We have a pretty tight rotation down here near Lamont. And that's moving off to the northeast. Now, there is a radar site near Davenport that I might have to go to. Davenport seems to be the best radar site. Let's go to Davenport here with this radar site. This is a bit further down to the southeast. Zoom down to get this radar site. There we go. So another tornado warning just issued northwest of Manchester. Again, it looks to be a pretty tight area of rotation right now near Lamont. So that's moving off to the northeast. This is over in Iowa. So make sure you're seeking shelter again away from windows and the lowest floor possible. The storm. And pretty strong inflow going into the storm. We have a hook as of right now. Again, possible tornado located there near Lamont. That's moving off to the northeast. Tweeted a photo. Okay, I'll take a look. I'm getting a lot of notifications on Twitter. Yeah. I don't see the photo, but just try to tweet me if you sent something. I didn't see it. Somebody asked how big the tornado was from earlier. The tornado was potentially as large as possibly half a mile, but we're not entirely sure. I'm seeing a lot of damage reports. Again, there is from the tornado that happened earlier, there's a lot of street signs down. The little traffic lights are out as well. Probably from some sort of straight line winds or something like that is what I'm assuming. A lot of damage being sent in right now from those over in Oakville. That was the large tornado again that we opened up our stream with earlier. Traffic lights out and whatnot. There's obviously a lot of damage that we're seeing from these storms, unfortunately. Already seen again ongoing tornado warning near Lamont right now. Again, make sure you're seeking shelter. This is over in Iowa. We'll go back up to the northeast if we have any new details on those tornado warnings. All of them are currently seemingly for the most part broad rotation. This seems to be the strongest rotation we have as of right now. And it's also in a bit more of a populated area. Again, very strong winds as well. Let me go to velocities. Again, we have a pretty tight area of rotation near Lamont, near Dundee as well. Correlation coefficient showing, as of right now, it seems to be showing at least hail near Lamont, but that's about it. Off to the northeast as of right now. Sorry, I do have to use dinner, so I'm eating a little bit, but again, I'm keeping up there with the list. I do have to eat a little bit. All right, let's go over to the other radar site. Let's go back to Wisconsin here, see if we have any new details here. Another tornado warning, by the way, just got issued for Westfield. This storm is moving very fast, by the way. It's moving 60 miles per hour. Holy, that is very fast. So this tornado warning storm is moving 60 miles per hour. Area of rotation seems to be just to the west of Westfield. Let me go to the, let's see if we have any other radar sites. We're starting to get a little bit worse on the radar sites here. This is going to be the one that we're looking at. So going back down to Milwaukee here, this is the latest radar site near Westfield. This should give us at least somewhat of a better view in terms of the rotation. And nope, doesn't give us anything better. But area of rotation seems to be here, just to the southeast of Adams, going toward Westfield right now. Might be rain wrapped. It's extremely hard to tell. We are now in the dead center of the state. Trying to see if we have any better radar sites, but I don't think we're gonna get much better. We just got another tornado warning, by the way, that just got issued out in front of that as well. This is also for Watuma, as well as Coloma and Wild Rose, Red Granite. Those areas all just got issued into a new tornado warning as well. So we have several tornado warnings now ongoing in Wisconsin. And the velocities, again, are going to be very hard to pick out here, but I can at least give you a general estimate from the reflectivity standpoint. So I have an area of rotation likely here near Westfield, and there's possibly another one rain wrapped somewhere back in here near Coloma. That's what we're looking at as of right now. Now, again, we should get a better radar update here in a second. This is, again, the Green Bay radar site. We had a 53 mile per hour wind gust, by the way, up in Wisconsin Rapids. We have, again, several tornado warnings ongoing down to the south. Those are mostly, it looks to be expiring, which is good. But we have probably the main storms right now over here to the east. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you're new here to the YouTube channel, I would appreciate if you hit the subscribe button. Again, we do live streams like this all the time. Would appreciate it. Again, we're going to be having our name changed to Max Velocity, hopefully by no later than later tonight. I was trying to do it today, but for some reason it didn't let me, so I'm waiting for a response from YouTube. Yeah, if you have any questions about the ongoing tornado warnings, anything like that, feel free to let me know. Again, we're primarily focusing on Wisconsin as well as the tornado warning down in Iowa. Now, the tornado warning in Iowa right now has pretty strong rotation. So if you're in any of those areas, like you're in Lamont, make sure you're seeking shelter. We're going to get the latest radar update on these before we go back down to the south. We can kind of figure out what's going on there. Do I have a new logo? I have a new banner. I might make a new logo. I'm not 100% sure though yet. The logo though, at least this one up here will be changed. One up here, the top left. That'll be done probably sometime tomorrow. Southwest Michigan. I don't think when Southwest Michigan, if you're like far southwestern Michigan, I don't think you're gonna see much. If anything, it'll be very low end risks. Any severe weather tonight, I'm going to show you the outlook for tonight. If you're just tuning in for the first time, again, there's a moderate risk of severe weather ongoing. I think that's been pretty clear, at least for now. Moderate risk, again, for the tornado threat primarily, and then we have an enhanced risk, which includes, again, the tornado threat as well. Slight risk and marginal risks are primarily just for damaging winds and maybe a little bit of large hail. Very low end tornado threat outside of this main area. Again, we have a very, very strong low level jet in these areas tonight. I believe it's been peaking around 60 to 65 miles per hour. Let me go and take a look. I have it on this radar, so I'm going to show you here on the map. But the low-level jet is extremely strong tonight. I mean, we're talking, again, that's why we have a really prime setup. Now, it's not the strongest we've ever seen by any means, but it is definitely fairly strong. You can see the values, 50, 55 miles per hour, actually. It's about 50 to 55. That's the peak. So that is very strong. My dog's in here. I don't know why. Back out to the west, we still have values around 50 as well. Down here over toward Iowa as well, we still have values around 50. Again, ongoing tornado watch is, again, very large tornado watch that we have tonight, but it is obviously for that potential for tornadoes. And yeah, we definitely have a pretty significant chance for a tornado threat tonight. All right, next radar update's not coming in anytime soon on this radar. We're going to go back out to the west. Yeah, low-level jet's pretty strong. All right, here's a look at the latest velocities. All right, so our main area looks like a rotation is possibly here near Westfield. Let me go take a look if we have anything on the velocities, and that's possibly an area of rotation. We also possibly have one up here near Coloma as well, and that seems to be the main area for areas of rotation with this cell. Actually, I have a pretty strong area of rotation here, it looks like, just to the south of Coloma. Let me go take a look at the correlation coefficient. And I see a little green speck here. Now, it's not going to really, I don't think it's at least going to be able to confirm a tornado at this point, but there may be one. So definitely make sure you're seeking shelter if you're near Coloma, Interstate 39, or Westfield. Again, this is a look at the velocities. We have an area of rotation here. We also have an area of rotation here. And that seems to actually be probably the two main areas of rotation right now. There could possibly be two tornadoes as well. Let me look at the radar scope real quick. See if we have anything there. And yeah, the rotation on radar scope with this specific storm is a little bit more broad in terms of what we're seeing. At least this radar's showing pretty tight rotation. But yeah, that's what we're looking at as of right now in terms of the wind speeds with this. So we have a couple areas of rotation again, moving off to the east. Let me go a little bit further to the left here. So a little area of rotation there, one area of rotation there. Again, neither of them are confirmed to be on the ground, but they very well could be at any point. So just keep that in mind. We got a new tornado warning, by the way, down in Iowa. Let's go to this one. This is just to the north of Manchester. This is moving off to the northeast. Gabe, as of right now, we had a confirmed tornado pretty shortly ago. We've at least had 3 tornadoes already. As of right at this current moment, no tornadoes have been confirmed, but we have a couple of pretty strong areas of rotation, which could very well be tornadoes. But there's one near Dundee as of right now. This has been probably our strongest area of rotation over the last several minutes. Going back to the correlation coefficient, let's see if we have any sort of debris. It shows a little bit of green, which very well could possibly be something there, but obviously there's a lot of hail, which very well could be being picked up as well. You can see the hail here. Obviously, your area of rotation is right there, located near 13 and Strawberry Point. Let me take a look at this tornado warning, see if we have any new details on it. As of right now, it's just a tornado and golf ball sized hail. Nothing confirmed as of yet on this tornado warning. Again, fairly strong rotation. That's just west of Edgewood. That is moving off to the northeast. Again, that's going to be going towards Strawberry Point, as well as Gutenberg, and as well as Osterdock, Little Port, as well as Garber over the next several minutes. So we have a couple of areas there that have some fairly, or in the track again of this area of rotation. Again, pretty tight rotation that we're seeing near Dundee. Very well could drop a tornado anytime. But again, we're pretty far away from the radar site, so it's going to be hard to tell if we have anything. Tornado was possibly, that tornado, I believe, what we saw it at least on radar was at least a quarter-mile wide, if not possibly as large as a half-mile wide. But those details, again, will probably come out tomorrow, obviously, when the National Weather Service surveys it. All right, going back up to the north here, back into Wisconsin. And rotation, again, as of right now, seems to be fairly broad with these cells. You know, we're in between 3 radar sites over in Wisconsin right now. We should be getting pretty close to more radar sites, hopefully in the near future. So we're looking at as of right now. Let me go back down to the, we're going to primarily focus, it looks like, on the Ohio storm, or Iowa storm, I mean, not Ohio. Iowa storm, though, as of right now. This is, again, a pretty strong area of rotation near Strawberry Point. That's moving off to the northeast. Okay, make sure you're seeking shelter away from windows. Again, this is the area, we have a pretty strong rotation near 13 as of right now. Moving off to the northeast. Yeah, that's going toward Strawberry Point 13 and eventually toward Little Port, as well as Garber. I'm not sure if it was an EF3. I can't confirm that, but it was at least probably an EF2. That's what I'm expecting. And rotation on the latest scan a little bit broader, so that's good news there. See it there near Edgewood. Yeah, Bolden, are you still here? Thank you, Michael, or Michael, excuse me, for subscribing. I appreciate it. I don't know if it was an EF4. I don't think it was, at least from what I've seen so far, it does not seem to be that strong, but it very well could have. It's definitely a possibility. But what I've seen at least so far did not seem to be that large scale, at least in terms of a strength. Let me look at Twitter, see if we have any new photos of damage. I see a lot of trees like uprooted and stuff like that. I don't see anything to the point where I could probably at least say it was at least an EF4. I don't see anything like that. It does not seem to be total destruction, but at least seems to be at least probably an EF2, possibly an EF1. But it was a very large area of debris too. We're still awaiting more photos as well. So we should be able to get more photos in terms of, you know, what actually happened, but yeah. Arkansas, possibly later, but as of right now, we're primarily focusing on all the tornado warnings that we got ongoing. Yeah, we got one over in Iowa, or Idaho. I keep keep saying Ohio. Iowa, though, right now near Strawberry Point. Again, it's heading off to the northeast toward Littleport as well as Garber. Latest radar scan a little bit broader. Might have had a 20 on the ground with this one. Not 100% confirmed yet, but there very well could have been one. Very well could recycle and redevelop as well as it moves off to the east, northeast, and northeast toward Garber, Littleport, excuse me, and towards Osterdock, and as well as Gutenberg. Those areas are included in the next couple of minutes. I meant to say Gutenberg, by the way. Now, we have a new report, by the way, with this other tornado warning up in Adams. There was a funnel cloud reported with that storm. So we got some new confirmation from that storm as well. Let's go back up to the north here. I'm trying to find a good radar site. A lot of these are pretty hard to come by. Let's go to the one down near Milwaukee, though. This one should give us a good idea on these storms near Baraboo. And as of right, what I'm seeing now, there's a little area of rotation down just to the northeast of Plain. That's moving toward Baraboo as of right now. That's going toward North Freedom as well. And it seems to be rain wrapped, so that's an area of rain wrap rotation. Again, possibility for a tornado will exist probably in a few minutes, not now, but it very well could develop at any time. Here's a look at the velocities on the other storm back up here to the north. Little area of rotation near Rock Springs, fairly broad at this point. Another area of broad rotation here north of Wisconsin Dells. That's moving off the northeast. And it looks like we have a bit more of a rotation here near Westfield. Let me look at the correlation coefficient. And I'm not seeing anything on, at least on radar, that's indicating a tornado on the ground there. And let's go back up here to the north. I'm not seeing anything too tight as of right now near Coloma. And there's also another area of rotation up here that seems to be broad as of now, just to the south, excuse me, of Stevens Point. That's moving off to the northeast toward Nelsonville as well as Amherst. And tornado warning going up there does not seem to be like, it looks like at least it will not probably be extended. Tornado watch, by the way, no longer includes Waterloo. So those in Waterloo don't need to be concerned anymore. It seems like as of right now, at least you could very well see some storms later tonight, though. Again, velocities down here seem to be weakening out, at least as of right now. So that's good news. And yeah, that's what we're looking at as of right now. Let me back up here to the north. Go to the Green Bay radar. It looks like we're getting pretty close to the Green Bay radar now. These storms, again, are moving about 55, 60 miles per hour, so they are moving very, very fast. They're not slow-moving storms by any means. Semis tipped, yeah, we had a lot of semi-trucks report. A lot of those reports of flipped over semi-trucks and whatnot have already been reported there, so yeah, there's definitely been some damage in terms of that as well. Yeah, as of right, what I'm seeing, there was an incident on exit 47A, likely from a tornado. We have that as well. So yeah, we have a lot of confirmed reports in that regard in terms of what we've seen so far. New severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. Obviously, this is probably the least of everybody's concerns, but there is now a new warning for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. It includes a very large area, including Clintonville, New London, Lola, as well as Shawano, as well as Kashina and Neopit. Those areas are included, as well as Wittenberg. Those areas all included in a new severe thunderstorm warning. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. That's basically a given at this point for the rest of the night. We're going to see damaging winds probably within this entire line of storms to some extent, whether that be, you know, significant damage or not. By the way, we have structure damage to a house and 2 campers near Highway 82 and Cannon Avenue. That was near Vernon County. That was in Valley. I'm not sure what was in this area. There might have been was this near Hillsborough? Yeah, so this was a possible tornado as well. What we saw on radar, this is close to the beginning of the stream as well, there was definitely probably a tornado on the ground here near Valley. So there, again, probably was a tornado. So we very well could have had a tornado here near Valley. There was a correlation coefficient was picking up in debris earlier with this storm. So now we had some structure damage back out that way. Again, 2 campers and a house suffered damage there just to the southwest of Hillsborough. Hopefully Hillsborough didn't get hit too hard because I know that area has a bit more of a population, but yeah, there's definitely some strong storms that went through those areas as well. Any good cameras? That is a great question. I really do not know because this is, again, a fairly rural area. I'm assuming the best cameras that you're going to find are probably going to be traffic cameras, at least in this area. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe EarthCam has something. That would have, what I imagine is probably it. That's probably about it, though. And we have a little area of rotation here near Westfield. That's moving off to the northeast as of right now. Are these way worse than the Monday night ones? In terms of a tornado threat, yes. But in terms of an overall threat, so far, I would say I mean, we're very early into the entire event, because this is honestly, like, we're only in the first hour and a half of this. It very well could get worse throughout the next couple of hours as well. The tornado threat is basically at its peak. I mean, I don't think it's going to peak too much further beyond this. But yeah, I can't say it's probably going to be, I can't compare them yet. Obviously, we have to wait it out. But this is obviously pretty similar threats in terms of what we expected with the last event in Indiana, as well as Illinois, and as well as Michigan. But those areas primarily saw damaging winds. Now, this event is more of everything. And obviously, the last one produced some large hail as well. Again, here's an area of rotation here near Littleport. That's moving off to the northeast toward Guttenberg right now. Hey, John, how you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, overall, there's pretty much different events, but yeah. We got several tornado warnings on going back up here to the northeast. And obviously, all of these are currently rotating. None of them have confirmation of any tornadoes. The one here off just to the east, there's actually another area of rotation, looks like developing near Westfield. I can't confirm it. Let me go and look at the reflectivity. It might just be a glitch, and there's a little bit of possibly rotation there as well. Yeah, we have several tornado warnings ongoing. There's several areas of rotation. Just make sure you're seeking shelter if you're near any of these. If you're in any of the tornado warnings, definitely recommend that you seek shelter. Let's go over here to the new tornado warning that just got issued in Antigua. This is moving off to the northeast, and you can see that there is a possible area of rotation here. I believe this would probably be the main area. There is a little bit of a tightening here. I don't think that's the main area of rotation, though. I think the main area is here. That's a little bit broader. That is going toward Antigua right now. That has a potential for a tornado at any time. Correlation coefficient actually showing absolutely nothing. It doesn't even show any sort of colors at all. So for the most part, it looks like as of right now, it's just straight line winds. Very well could become a tornado any time, though. You can see the rotation as of right now. Definitely trying to develop. Again, there's an area of rotation here that's trying to develop. That's moving off toward Antigua right now. So make sure you're seeking shelter again away from windows if you're in this storm as well. How far south is this line going to go? I mean, this will extend all the way down to eastern Kansas. It's not going to be a line, though. Yeah, it'll be almost like a broken line of storms almost. But for the most part, these storms are going to be, developing over the next several hours through Iowa, possibly Nebraska, and as well as Kansas. So there will be some storms down that way as well for the next couple of hours. Again, I will be definitely covering those as well as they move down that way. So, but again, we'll probably be live for several hours. So, near Wisconsin Rapids, do you think they are safe? Wisconsin Rapids already saw, I think, the worst of what you'll see tonight. The area there, I believe, is just seeing rain now. But yeah, Wisconsin Rapids basically saw the worst of the severe weather for your area at this point. From here on out, maybe an isolated storm, but other than that, I don't expect too much beyond that. All right, going back down to the south here, let's go and take a look if there's any rotation in these storms. And as of right now, still some rotation here near Watoma. That's kind of very broad at this point. We're not seeing anything strong with that storm. It looks to be developing, though. That's going toward Red Granite. That's near 21. I see as of right now, a lot of wind. There's actually an area of rotation here that's more depicted on radar, at least on the storm relative velocity, near Wild Rose. So that might be an area that we'll have to watch pretty closely. That is definitely an area to watch as it moves off to the northeast. A bit more rotation there. How can you tell if there's rotation by looking at normal radar? You have to look at velocities. And then you have to kind of learn how to, read velocities at that point. I'll have a video. Again, I'm going to make a tutorial video on velocities at some point pretty soon in terms of how to depict if there's a tornado and whatnot. James, this is north of Watoma. This is over in central Wisconsin now. That's what we're looking at in terms of this warning. Let me go and take a look at the Storm Prediction Center. We have a new little mesocyclone discussion. A possible watch might be issued for eastern Kansas, southeastern Iowa, and as well as northern Missouri. Those areas might see a severe thunderstorm watch get issued here pretty soon. I don't expect a tornado watch, but there might be a severe thunderstorm watch there issued pretty soon. And we're seeing cars flipped, a lot of trees down, street lights out, whole roof was ripped off an Italian grill, by the way, as well. So we have a lot of damage reports already coming in again from that tornado from what we covered at the beginning. That was over by Monston. That's actually another tornado. That was not the big one that we saw. That's the other tornado that we saw not too long after that. So we're having a lot of reports there as well of that tornado. Let's move off to the northeast. No problem. No problem at all. Near the Iowa border. If you're anywhere down near the Iowa border, there will still be a possibility for storms later tonight, but for the most part, the main threat with those will likely be damaging winds and maybe a little bit of large hail. I don't expect too much of a tornado threat down that way. The low-level jet is not nearly as strong down to the southwest as it is up in Wisconsin right now. We have a much stronger low-level jet here. These winds, by the way, are extremely strong over here. We're talking 80 miles per hour possibly west of Red Granite. So there is very high winds with this storm as well in terms of not just the area of rotation, but as well as that that we're seeing moving off to the east-northeast. So we definitely have some strong winds, obviously possibly a little bit of hail, and we definitely have a possibility for a tornado as well near Wild Rose. It's our main area of rotation, again, moving off to the northeast. There's another area of rotation again near Antigo. This is another area that we could have possibly a tornado. This is pretty far away from the radar site. It's a little bit probably pretty close to what we're seeing in terms of this right now, though. A little bit broad near Antigo right now. And again, off to the northeast. So the velocities there are still somewhat broad. The other tornado warning over in Iowa right now near Elkport. Currently still some broad rotation with that cell as well. And a lot of these storms over here in Wisconsin have some fairly it's still broad rotation overall with most of these cells. So far a lot of good news, but obviously we've already had a lot of bad news with the tornadoes that we've seen. Tornadoes warnings as of right now, though, most of them are still some fairly broad rotation as these move off to the northeast. Oh, yeah, I know. I keep saying, for some reason I can't say Iowa. But yeah, Iowa. I keep saying Ohio. I keep mixing them together. I don't know why. I mean, we did cover the Ohio and as well as Illinois event the other night in Michigan and Indiana. We covered that event for like 5 or 6 hours, so it's kind of stuck in my head, I think. Crazy night. Yeah, we have a lot of crazy stuff ongoing. So I have a lot of new photo reports coming in from a tornado damage northeast of Yville. Time estimated around 4:24. We had a lot of trees knocked down, obviously, and a lot of debarking. Basically means that the bark has been ripped off of trees. So, oh, Iowa. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it from now on. All right, here's the area of rotation again near Wild Rose. That's moving off to the northeast as of right now. Again, going toward Fremont over the next several minutes. Again, a lot of these storms I'm seeing as of right now seem to have some fairly broad rotation. That one has probably the tightest that we're seeing right now. Looks to be tightening rotation near Antigo as well. That's moving up to northeast. Again, this is an area of rotation I'll have to watch pretty closely. Rain Rapids heads towards 64 and as well as 45. And that's definitely going to be another storm to watch pretty closely as that moves off to the northeast. New damaging wind report of 65 miles per hour. That was from earlier. 52 mile per hour wind report not too long ago north of Platteville. We're seeing as of right now. Back down closer to Portage. I have a little bit of rotation over here as well. And still seems to be very broad rotation with that cell as well. There looks to be a tightening of rotation here near Barbo. Let's go back to the Milwaukee radar. Let's see if we have anything here. Possibly a tornado here. Can't confirm it though. That was from one radar angle. Near Interstate 94. And velocities seem to be a bit broader on this storm with this radar site. So luckily as of right now, it looks to be just a lot of rain and still some rotation with that storm as it moves off to the northeast. A lot of these storms again will probably be rain wrapped tornadoes. We're getting new wind reports and whatnot. A 66 mile per hour wind gust in Watuma, and as well as near Westfield, reports of multiple trees down and limbs down on the town roads. Estimate of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. So that seems to be probably just some straight line winds. There's also a report of an 80 mile per hour wind gust near Westfield. So we've already had some significant winds with that as well. So let's move off to the northeast. So 80 mile per hour wind report was reported with that storm. Best radar app? I would recommend Radar Scope. That's my favorite. Any live cams in Appleton? I don't think so. I don't have any live cams to begin with because I don't have any commercial licensing, which costs a lot of money. I don't really have any of that stuff yet. Hopefully one day I'll be able to get that stuff though. I mean, if I can grow big enough, I can definitely afford that sort of stuff, but it'll be a while until it happens. No problem, John. All right, here's back to the velocities on this storm. Again, we have some rotation here near Wild Rose, probably the strongest that we've seen tonight in terms of rotation. or not tonight, excuse me, but in terms of the last at least 30 minutes. We haven't had a whole lot of tight rotation. Storm as of right now, still some velocity there near White Rose. And yeah, we have a lot of tornado warnings still ongoing. Well, weather in Kansas be as high as it is for a while in terms of, you know, temperatures. Is that what you mean? But yeah, I don't really expect the temperatures to drop at all anytime soon. And area of rotation is here near Wild Rose. That's the main area of rotation with this storm is here. Moving off to the northeast as of right now. Welcome back, Christian. All right, this is again the main area of rotation near Wild Rose. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. Let's go take a look at the velocities again. They should be updating here. Velocities are very well glitched out on this radar. I might have to go down to the Milwaukee radar from already on. All right, there we go. It's been a little bit better of a look. So that's east of Wild Rose. Again, we have some broad rotation with that cell. It's moving off to the east-northeast. It's east of 22, so just keep that in mind. Again, it's heading up to the east-northeast. All right, cool. And that's our main area of rotation. Don't see a whole lot in terms of other rotation. There's a little bit down here near Barbuas. Again, that's why there's a tornado warning there. A little bit near Westfield. Nothing strong, though, as of right now. Again, these storms are all moving off to the northeast as of right now. We have a lot of broad rotation with most of these storms. Let's go up to Antigua real quick. The storm seems to be having a little bit more rotation. From this radar site, it seems to have pretty strong rotation. I'm going to go way over here, the Michigan radar site, because this one might give us a better view in terms of if there's actually strong rotation or if it's just one radar angle. And as of right now, rotation still seems to be a bit broad. From the Green Bay radar, it seems to be a bit stronger in terms of rotation. Let's go to the correlation coefficient. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in terms of at least debris, but there is obviously a bit stronger rotation here near Antigua. So those in Antigua, again, make sure you're seeking shelter immediately. This is probably the strongest storm as of right now. Winds are estimated, it says 130. I think it's a way overestimate, but there very well could be some damaging winds around maybe 60 to 70 with this storm. I definitely can't say there's 100-mile-per-hour winds. It doesn't seem realistic, but there's obviously some rotation there near Antigua. Do I storm chase? Not really. I want to at some point, though. Hey, man, how you doing? Welcome. How you doing today? Apparently somebody was had a tornado warning and they were grilling outside. Okay. Had that photo posted in Discord. Let's go back to the velocities on this storm. Again, that's near 45. And main area of rotation, again, is right here northwest of Antigua. So that's moving off to the northeast as of right now. All right, I'm actually going to cut the stream short early. Again, Ryan Hull's live right now, so I'm going to let him, I'm going to defer to him as of right now. I got to eat. I also have to do a few other things. I went live primarily for the tornado warning earlier. Again, if there's any other major tornado warnings, I'll hopefully be able to go live, but I had some stuff to do beforehand, and I have to do it now. So, again, make sure to, again, you can go check out him, or you can go to the Weather Channel, anything like that. Make sure you stay updated with those if you're in these areas. But I have to do some stuff. Again, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. We'll do more live streams like this in the near future. Again, we do them all the time. We'll have one again later tonight. I'm going to go live again at some point for the storms in Iowa and as well as Missouri, as well as Kansas, and a little bit later. So we'll be live for those events as well, probably in a couple of hours. Again, I had to do some stuff before stream. I said that in our Discord, but I have to do some stuff. So I do appreciate everybody understanding. Again, we'll be back here pretty soon, and I'll be back again in probably a couple of hours, and I'll go back live for the event in Kansas and possibly Michigan, and as well as Iowa and Missouri. All right, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, make sure to hit the like button as well as subscribe. Again, I do apologize for cutting it short. I usually don't do this, but I have to. But I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Have a great night. If I don't see you again tonight's live stream, we'll see you again soon. Again, I'll be live tomorrow as well for the New York and Pennsylvania potential for tornadoes. So again, we'll be live in a couple of hours, so just stay tuned. Another live stream will be coming out. Try and post the notifications down below for that one. That will be only really primarily focused on Kansas, Iowa, and Missouri. All right, have a great night, everybody. If I don't see you tonight, and also I'll be live tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Have a great night, everybody.